tournament leader, Mike Aulby, were in the championship match, Peoria Open. He is trailing by 11. He is the spare up in the third, shooting in the fourth. His opponent, Dave D'Entremont. Three, sleeper 9.
Just got away from Mike. He always trusts the ball. He very seldom ever pulls the ball under pressure. And you can see this ball going down the center of the lane and gets out to about the third board. And it just doesn't have enough side turn to come back and pop a wall shot. As Christopher Aulby, his young son,
CJ,
and the beautiful Tammy Aulby, rooting for their daddy and husband.
Little body English. Christopher liked it. Tammy, with a nervous smile. They drove over from Indianapolis. They'll drive him back home for a day or so.
Aulby gets a great break there. He missed that so far. He made it. He just barely nicked the 3-pin and barely nicked the 9. So let's see if he can take advantage of that break. He knows he got a great break there. It's time for Aulby to get going. This guy is a great winner. As you look at his full fingertip grip, sets that index finger on it, much like D'Entremont, except he doesn't have the wrist action. Cups that hand underneath it, drops that left shoulder back, the amount of hook. And that's perfect.
And last win for Mike. Wichita, 1993. Last time in the top 5 was in Japan, same year. Pete Weber, all-time money leader, and you see that Mike is in number 4. Million and a lot of 4-4-4s.
And here's a man that's only about 1 million behind him, Dave D'Entremont, but he's on a roll.
Last week, his biggest week ever. That's 3 in a row, and that's a 23-pin lead.
Just like a walk in the park when you're loose. Pretty easy game. The Big D makes the championship round at the Quaker State, runs all over him in the Choice Hotels last week, and here he is back in Peoria, making a run at back-to-back titles.
3 telecasts in a row. Last time it was Brian Voss that accomplished that. A 10 on the left lane.
Solid 10 to open, 4-bagger, solid 10. Not much you can do about that. D'Entremont with about a 5-degree angle of attack on those 37-pound pins with a 16-pound spheroid. We'll have a 22-pin lead with a spare.
How do you spell that?
It doesn't matter. Pins, P-I-N-S.
Chris Scheichel here with my friend Nelson Burton Jr. 21st year for Bo, and we've had a lot of fun over the years.
Key shot for Aulby. Has to stay in the match. He's been a little shaky on this lane. He can cut the lead of D'Entremont's down to 12 pins and make D'Entremont think a little bit.
Oh. Shades of the last game.
Ouch. Those hurt. It's actually the same split for a left-hander that we've seen from the righties. See Aulby with pretty solid footwork here, but does not project the ball as wide as he wants to. Cuts right through the middle. Leaves the 2, 4, 6, 7, 10. Needs to get the ball to the left of the 2. Slide it over into the 6-10 zone. Nobody has made this shot so far today. He needs it here.
And one of his friends and backers, Don Mitchell. Little body English on that one, Bill.
I know it, Chris. Tammy and Christopher look on. Christopher says, Mommy, oh, am I on camera? But she says, Daddy's in a little bit of trouble here. You know, there's an old saying, January 1st, you go from a hero to a 0 when all those numbers go away from your name. And right now, Aulby actually is losing a little of his confidence he's had over the years. He needs a good performance.
Professional bowler that's won just about everything, and one award that he won recently. We're very happy for him. Probably could have won it every year, the Steve Nagy Award.
Sportsmanship award for a nice guy, and that's probably because he only won $32,000 last year. He wasn't beating the brains out of everybody.
And of course last year was so bad because his father Jim died of a stroke July 4th and set Mike back as it would any child.
Mike said he didn't pick up a ball for more than 3 months, and he's working himself back into shape. The relentless Dave D'Entremont, 38-pin lead.
So we'll see what Dave does with a 310.
Well, the picture tells the story. He did not project the ball as wide as we've seen his other previous shots on this lane. Pays the penalty, goes high with the 310 baby split, needs to get the ball next to the 3, have it deflect into the 10. D'Entremont's on a roll. I don't see why he should miss this today. Except I can jinx him, Chris.
Well, we've all missed those, haven't we?
Well, here's a 16-pound ball in the big break. You need to cut the hook down to get the deflection. D'Entremont's ball pays dividends for a strike ball, but he is a little bit suspect when it comes to making those tight little splits, and now he's opened the door for Mike Aulby. Aulby, if he strikes out, could be 221. D'Entremont only going at a 216 pace. 3 frames remain.
.610 from the left.
Big D giving one of the toughest a chance. As Aulby cogitates, he knows he's back in the match. Lanes seem pretty solid here. D'Entremont just getting a little cute. He's not being aggressive, and you have to be aggressive in that championship match. And keeping that ball speed up, he's let the ball drift high.
Still disappointed, disgusted. Now, Mike Aulby. What will he do here in the 8th frame?
The man who led this tournament, Chris, by a phenomenal 715 pins. That only eclipsed by the great Dave Davis, who led a tournament in 1980 by 770.
Another left-hander. Seven.
The irony of these big tournament leads, we saw Duke set the records last year, go down to Brian Goebel in the championship round. And once again, Dave Davis, who led by a bunch, was defeated by Aulby in 1980, and Aulby on the ropes here in 1995. You know, I think that's the hardest part of the tour. You have to be a long-distance runner for 5 days to get to the championship round, partner, but then you have to be a sprinter on Saturday afternoon, and it's time for Aulby to kick it into high gear. Aulby with a stroker-type play. He plays the smooth, even roll. You can see his ball trajectory right here. He'll open that shoulder, cock that wrist, and he needs a strike right here.
All right. Now D'Entremont shooting in the 9th, spare up. Well,
the door has swung wide open for Mr. Aulby. The big D with the 4-6, basically impossible. He'll just try to either bounce the 6 off the back or the reverse the 4 off the back, but he needs to make sure to get one pin, what we call somewhat of an impossible spare. I'd say the odds are 1,000 to 1. Just keep your stroke and throw it hard. Gave it a go.
The Buckeye and the Hoosier battling down to the wire for the championship. Peoria Open.
D'Entremont looks to the official scoreboard on the side and realizes his what seemingly insurmountable lead of 3 frames ago has dwindled to a point where he's only 13 pins